Okay, so this video is on graphing a line. So you are going to be able to graph a line uh, from slope-intercept form. We're also going to graph a line by giving 2 points or by giving the intercepts. And we're going to graph a line in standard form. So the objective here is for you guys to be able to graph a line given different information. So let's look at the first one of graphing a line with something that's in slope-intercept form. So again, this is my slope, this is my intercept. So the steps here are pretty straightforward. My first step is look at your y-intercept. So let's put step 1. So find and plot y-intercept. So in this case, my y-intercept is -1, so I'm going to come down here, and at -1, and notice it's my y-intercept, so I go on my y-axis, and this is my y-intercept, so at 0, -1. Okay, next step, pretty straightforward, is from the y-intercept, use the slope for rise over run, and plot another point. So let me explain that. So if we do this, our slope here is 1 over 4. So my slope is equal to 1 over 4. So that means that I'm going to rise 1, and I'm going to run 4. So let's do that. I'm going to rise 1, so that puts me right there. And I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4. Rise 1, run 4. That gives me another point. And note that I can keep doing that from here. And that will give me another point somewhere over there. Or right here. And this gives me my line. So my line, and it doesn't just stop here, it keeps going. So it passes through those points, but if I make it completely linear, then it's going to run through in both directions. So it's a straight line that runs through both directions. And let's make this line a little bit fatter. I'll make it blue. So there is my line. Okay, so that's graphing in slope-intercept form, and you can always come back and revert to graphing in slope-intercept form. If something's in another form, you just would have to convert it to slope-intercept form. So let's look at graphing a line given 2 points. Now in this case, we're given the x-intercept and the y-intercept, so it makes it pretty easy. My x-intercept is at 2. 1, 2. That's where it crosses the x-axis. My y-intercept is at -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I have 2 points, I can graph a line. So my line goes through those 2 points. And this is my line. Now sometimes you'll just be given 2 points, and if I'm just given 2 random points, I would have to find the slope. So the x-intercept, well, remember that that is at 2 and 0. My y-intercept is at 0, -5. And if you have 2 points, you can always find the slope using rise over run, or the difference in your x's. So, or the difference in your y's over the difference in your x's. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if we plug this in, it doesn't matter which point we say is the first point or the second point. We just have to be consistent. So by plugging that in, y2 minus y1, that's negative 5 minus 0 over x2 minus x1, 0 minus 2. And we get the slope here is negative 5 over negative 2. Those are positive. We get 5/2. So that means that I should rise 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and run 2, and that's exactly what I have here. Okay, the last one, graph the equation in standard form. Well, the first step here is if you have it in standard form, convert it to slope-intercept form, and then you can go right back to graphing the first method that we chose. So if I'm going to convert this, first step is let's get this term to the other side because I want to isolate. My y. So now I have 3y is equal to, I'm going to put the negative 2x first. And now I just have to divide everything by 3. So let's do that. Divide everything by 3. And now I have an equation in slope-intercept form. So if you remember the steps from that, first step is I'm going to graph my y-intercept. So at 1. So my y-intercept is at 0, 1. And now I'm going to use my slope, which is I'm going to rise, and it doesn't matter what if I choose the top to be negative or the bottom. So let's choose the top. So I'm going to rise a negative 2, and I'm going to run a positive 3. That gives me another point. And again, I can do that again. That gives me another point all along the line. And when I graph that, off here, I get this graph. Okay, I hope that helps you complete your class activity.